Hey guys, I hope you're all having a great day. I am ExxotikGaming and today we're back with some more Call of Duty Mobile. This video is all about the best loot spots in this game. We're going to look at specific areas in the Battle Royale map and specific buildings in these areas. So it's a nice, comprehensive tutorial and I hope you'll benefit from it. Guys, really quickly, all I ask is for you to leave a like down below. A lot of people think likes equal money on YouTube when in fact they don't. It's just a way to support the channel, and this video has taken a long time to make, so your support is greatly appreciated. Thank you. Subscribe to my channel for more Call of Duty mobile content, and with that being said, let's just get into this. So, to start things off, we should address some pretty simple facts. Fact number 1, the areas with the most amount of players are the areas with the best loots. There's a reason why so many players go to these areas, and it's not because they just like the scenery. Fact number 2, in order to get to these best loot spots, you'll have to take big risks. The best loot spots aren't in areas no one goes to. You'll have to be willing and ready to take fights from the moment you touch the ground. And lastly, fact number 3, most people know this, but hey, maybe if you're a beginning player, you don't. Loot is, for the most part, completely random in Call of Duty Mobile. You'll never know what will spawn in an area before you get there. With this video, we'll be explaining the places in the map that are most likely to give the best loots. It is never 100% guaranteed. You could very well watch this video, land at the spots that I recommend, and get nothing of value, being the unluckiest player ever. However, the spots I will talk about in this video will more consistently give you better loot than the areas I will not talk about. Keep that in mind. Anyways, what are the best spots? Well, as I said earlier, the best spots to land are the busiest. First off, let's talk about launch. I love launch. It's right in the center of the map, and generally some of the highest concentrations of players can be found in this area. The big reason why launch is such a good area for loot is the loot is just right out in the open. Near the rocket, if you land in the areas that go into the ground, you'll be immediately beside multiple chests and get tons of ammo and weapons. It's such an easy way to loot up super fast and get those first few kills before other people even realize you're there. Next up, I'm going to recommend Crash. This is a big area with tons and tons of different buildings, and while there will be less people here who land on average, you're guaranteed to get a lot of loot due to the sheer number of places you can get items from. I'd recommend landing on top of a taller building and then work your way down. And that way, by the time you get to the bottom floor and walk outside, if someone else is also outside, you'll already have a gun and be prepared to fight them. Continuing on, the riskiest spot for loot in Call of Duty Mobile happens to be this one particular place in Bus Station. This is not a place I'd always recommend you guys to go to 100% of the time, especially if you're looking for consistent wins. But it is fun every once in a while if you're wanting good loot, as well as a lot of quick kills in the very beginning. Do be warned, Bus Station is a pretty high traffic area in early game, so you're just as easy to die from someone as pulling out ahead with a lot of kills in the very beginning. If you land at this exact spot in Bus Station, you'll almost always have a big loot box spawn in here and you'll be right in the middle of the action. Other people may land at the buildings next to you and they'll still be looting up, so the second you get the gun, you can run in full Rambo style and get like up to 5 kills in the span of 30 seconds. It's super risky, again, so do this at your own risk. You may very well have a medical loot box spawn in here and then, well, you're screwed. If you're not willing to take this risk, there are some better options. If I were to choose one location I like the best, that's a bit more laid back in terms of the amount of players, a place that has the most amount of loot while also having the least amount of enemies, I'd have to go with Sakura. Sakura is probably the prettiest place in the entire Call of Duty Mobile Battle Royale map. I absolutely love it, and it's probably my second favorite location in the map. I only wish it were closer to the center area so we had more final circles here. It's a big expanse of buildings, more spread out than Crash, and it's a nice open area without cliffs overhanging it, so you don't have to worry as much about someone sniping you when you're looting up. Specifically land at the highest points in this town, and then you can have a nice view out over the valley seeing enemies coming up on you from behind. It's a good place to go to if you want an easy early game. And if you're wanting an intense early game with lots of loot, well, Pipeline is the way to go. This place always has tons of enemies and big loot spawns in here. Inside the massive warehouses, you'll find all the ammo you could possibly need, but it comes with a trade-off. There is a high chance someone else might try and infiltrate the same warehouse as you in early game at the same time. So you need to be alert, quick to get your weapons, and ready to fight at a moment's notice. I have died more times at Pipeline than anywhere else, so keep that in mind when you're coming here. I would not recommend this over some other places. And then for my absolute favorite loot spot in this game, well, it's the one that I would recommend the most. It can't be anything other than Farm. Yes, the Farm is awesome. It's got one of the biggest towns right nearby, and anywhere you land at this town will always have tons of loot and tons of other players nearby. They're not stupidly close though, so you won't die here nearly as often as you will in Pipeline. I really like this area, and it even has that special dragon battle in the field next to it, so if you had a squad of players with you, you got your own minigame right there. It's really fun. Try to land on the western side of the city right next to the farm, and that will give you the best chance of finding the most loot. And that's my favorite place. Another thing I want to mention before we start to wrap things up, once you're looking at your map, you'll notice these colored dots randomly placed on the map. They can be pink, blue, green, and a few other colors as well. These areas are special loot spots. Once you get to them, you'll have the chance to unlock a big container, and then you'll be presented with a super high-powered gun. I'd highly recommend visiting at least one of these areas during your match, because you could get like a gold heat-seeking AS-50, for example, and be set for the rest of the game. If you're wanting an area with the best chance of finding this awesome loot and these special containers, land at the smaller islands with Nuketown and Seaside, and you're almost guaranteed to have at least one of these special loot spots spawn. You'll also not have too many enemies, so you'll have the best chance possible of getting the loot before others do, and with the highest chance of survival. So yeah, we're nearly finished with this video, but there's something really important I need to mention. This video is pre-recorded on June 27th, and it's entirely possible that new locations could be added in, or even new maps, between the time that I am recording this and the time that I am uploading it. If that is the case, don't worry. I can definitely do a second part to this video explaining in depth all the new best spots to land in the Battle Royale map, or even the second Battle Royale map. Just let me know in the comments if you do, and I can get that out as early as a month from now when I'm back from my vacation. Here's the thing, as I said earlier, the phrase you need to remember whenever you open up Call of Duty Mobile is high risk equals high reward. In order to get the best loot, you will need to land at popular areas. Maybe you're not too fond of that, and you'd rather land at a spot where no one is. I get that perspective, but the problem is if you don't encounter a lot of action early game, you won't get better at the game. Simple as that. If you're just starting out with Call of Duty Mobile, you really need to land in these high traffic areas, learning how to gear up quickly and how to get kills fast. You may die a lot more in the beginning, but hey, that's okay. When you're first starting to play Call of Duty Mobile, you don't play for wins. You play for the experience of getting better at the game. You play to learn what the map feels like, how the guns work, and how to deal with any situation. If a win comes along with it, hey, that's great, but you can't expect a win all the time when you're first starting out. Once you're able to consistently stay alive landing at these high traffic areas, then you can finally start to branch out and go to different, less popular areas so you can explore the map more and find your own personal favorite landing spot. Never forget, high risk equals high reward. And with that, we have completed today's video. I hope you stayed until the end. And if you did stay until the end, I hope you learned something new in this video. Obviously, this was a tips and tricks video more geared towards beginning players. If you're experienced at the game, you should already know the best loot spots in Call of Duty Mobile. But hey, maybe you didn't think of one of these spots and now you know. If you thought this video was well made, please leave a like down below. It takes literally 1 second, but it means so much more. Subscribe for more Call of Duty Mobile content, gameplays, tips and tricks videos, and so much more. And check out the playlist I'll link down below in the description. If you want to know the best gaming phone for Call of Duty Mobile, how to download it for both iOS or Android, or simply the best tips and tricks for this game, I have all of those videos plus more linked to it. It'll help quite a lot of you out. Thank you for watching, guys. I'll see you all in the next episode.